Howdy, folks. I'm Flipper, the bottlenose dolphin.
I'm Amber.
And here's some... Alright, folks. Our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Doing Anything for My Husband's Birthday? Thank you for reading. Backstory. I have been married for 3 years, together for 15, one child. I've always been big on doing nice things for my husband's birthday. 1 year was $1,000 golf clubs and a mini surprise party. Decorate the house with 200 balloons, big expensive steak dinners. I used to save a lot to do it, but seeing him happy always made it worth it. Well, fast forward to my birthday last year. I was 1 month postpartum and I had an emergency C-section and was recovering. I had brought up casually that for my birthday, I would have liked something for my daughter, either a card or her birthstone. A card with a little handprint would have been cute. He looked at me and said, "Don't expect a thing this year. I have no money." I was shocked because he in fact had just spent $2,000 on a bachelor party. But again, I wasn't expecting much. I didn't make a big deal. My family, however, were not happy. My sister asked him to split something with her for me and he said no. No explanation, just no. So she came over with family and decorated the house for me. In the end, because he saw how upset my family was for how he was acting towards me, more than just birthday stuff, he gave me a gift card he knew that I couldn't use. Whatever. Anyways, fast forward to today. Now, a lot more tension is between us. He again told me not to expect anything for Mother's Day, that he has to pay his credit card down, and I just nodded my head. But that's when he said, "So what are you doing for my birthday?" I was shocked, but instinctively said, "Don't expect anything. I have no money." He looked at me, crushed, like I had crushed his soul, and was just like, "Wow, really?" I'm like, "I'm on maternity leave. Where would I go and have money for you?" Now he's stomping his feet saying that I do nothing for him. Am I the jerk? Alright, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk, but it may be time to start evaluating whether divorce is right for you.
Yeah, I think that OP, the one gift you should give him is our divorce papers.
Like, what he is doing is not okay, and everyone can see it. Like, there's a reason why your family was this upset with him. And you say it's more than just not getting you a gift. It sounds like he doesn't value you at all, because the things you're asking for, like a card with your daughter's handprint, he'd have to buy some paper and paint.
Yeah.
Like, that's so cheap. He was just showing that he does not value you enough to go to the store and get a little paper and paint.
Yeah, well, even birthstone jewelry just generally doesn't cost a huge amount.
Oh, yeah,
unless you're going to like a really high upper class place, you know?
Yeah, you can get birthstone jewelry for cheap, and so it feels like he wanted to prove to OP that she means nothing. Like, I'm going to put absolutely zero effort into this. I'm going to shut down all attempts to celebrate you because you mean nothing.
Yeah, so OP, I know that it's been 15 years, but maybe it's been 15 years too long.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just time to cut your losses and move on and not deal with him. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Toth Mikey says, "Not the jerk, sounds like a narcissist. They ruin holidays, birthdays, where they are not the center of attention, but expect everyone to make a big deal on their birthday. If you are truly even questioning if you're the jerk in the situation, rather than hopefully gaining comments to show your husband what a jerk he is, then you are likely a victim of his gaslighting. You are experiencing cognitive dissonance, a lack of self-esteem, and an ability to think rationally for yourself due to his control. I'm sorry you have to experience any of this at this time, but you should be supported and enjoy your new baby." And OP replies this, "Thank you." So apparently that resonated with them. And Material Prophet 5923 says, "When he tells you that he doesn't have money, he's actually saying that he doesn't have money for things that are unimportant to him, like you. You need to seriously consider whether this relationship is healthy for you or your daughter." And edited to add, "Forgot to include not the jerk." Alright folks, our next letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for screaming at my son?" I know how the title sounds, so bear with me, please. I have been with my husband for 24 years and married for 19 of them. We have 3 kids, ages 17, 13, and 9. I have always loved my children and considered them the missing pieces of my puzzle. My son is my oldest. He is a very active child and spends most of his time at school or out with friends. This has never bothered me since he tells me who he's out with and when he'll be getting home. Well, a few weeks ago, my boss announced that we broke our latest sales record, so he would be taking us all out to dinner on Friday, the 31st. We were all pretty excited since we don't do the typical team building excursions that other jobs hold. I had informed my husband of this, but he has a very bad memory. I'm convinced that he'd lose his head if it weren't attached to his body. Well, Friday came, and we all went to dinner straight after work at a local Chinese buffet. As time passed, everyone had their fill and left. By the time I left, it was only me and my boss. He thanked me for my hard work, as he had done with my other coworkers, and we went our separate ways for the night. When I got home, I knew something was wrong. When I entered the living room, I was face to face with my oldest pacing the room, and my husband sitting on the couch with my other kids, hugging them and crying. Before I could ask what happened, my son stopped pacing and confronted me about my infidelity with my boss. He showed me a picture of my boss and me sitting together alone in the restaurant. I asked my husband if he believed it, but he refused to look at me. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I would have called another one of my coworkers, but my son said something that I could never forget. He said, "So, you don't even deny it. I can't believe my mom is not a very nice word." I snapped and screamed in his face that he has no idea what he's insinuating, and that was far from the truth, that I never accused him of terrible things when I found out what he's done wrong. I showed him the group chat that we had debated where to eat and even reminded my husband that Friday night was the night that my boss was taking us out to eat. I watched my son turn pale, but it didn't matter to me. I snatched my phone from his hand and left without another word. They've all been calling to apologize profusely, but I don't know if I can forgive them for such an accusation. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. Although I think the big jerk here is your husband. Like, your son shouldn't have, necessarily jumped to conclusions, but he's also a kid. Your husband should have found a way to, taken the information from your son and just been like, we'll handle this. Not like, I'll handle this. Not like gathered the young children together on the couch and started bawling over this accusation.
Yeah.
And I'm a little worried that your son would think that just because a man and woman are sitting together, it's clearly like a date.
Yeah, that isn't grounds for, I mean, you can suggest talk to somebody about it if you're concerned about it, but it isn't like a thing because it doesn't make any sense that would be the first thing you should jump to, right? Like, just because someone is eating dinner with another person doesn't mean that they're being unfaithful. And if it really does concern you, then you should bring it up to the people involved and not make a big scene about it.
So, your son was over the top, and he should have, just taken the information and, asked about it. But your husband, I think, is the bigger jerk here for not shutting this down.
Yeah, exactly. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, our next letter is a update. This is, am I the jerk for refusing to honor my boyfriend's family tradition? Oh, and just to summarize real quick, this was the post where OP essentially was being tested by their boyfriend, or his family wanted to test OP on women's skills type of things. And then they were going to judge whether or not she was fit for his son. Several things have happened since my post, and I've received requests for an update, so here it is. This will be my only update. I got lots of insight from the votes and comments in my original post, and I would like to thank you all for that. I showed my boyfriend the responses and judgment on this original post. Most of you felt that I was not the jerk, and like you would guess, he was upset by this judgment. He tried to make his own post, but was TA'd so badly that he deleted it in less than an hour. Anyways, I talked to my family and told them about the test. Yesterday, they called us home for dinner, and told him that they would let me take the family's test if they let me and my dad's male cousins put him through a similar test. He blew up about how ridiculous it was because it's a family tradition for his family, but for mine, it's something that we came up at random. He ended up saying that it's okay if I don't do the test, but my parents and I were being childish. He let it slip mid-argument that his youngest sister-in-law didn't want to do the test either, but look at her, the perfect wife. He said a lot of things, but long story short, he is still supportive of whatever I want to do with my life after marriage, but his family will never think the same way. However, I was starting to see a pattern, so I asked to take a break. It was great while it lasted. It's not fun or a cute update, but there you go. Time for me to binge watch heartbreaking movies with a giant tub of ice cream. Once again, thank you for the comments and judgments. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. I mean, I think...
Oh, I guess that's not really even the question anymore. But what do you think of the update?
I mean, I know it's hard for OP right now to end this relationship, but it sounds like that's for the best. It's very clear that as much as he claims he doesn't share his family's values, he has internalized a lot of that.
Yeah.
And I am very worried that if OP were to go through with the marriage, then she would see how he really feels.
Well, and this kind of goes back to what we were originally saying.
Mm-hmm.
It feels more like he's trying to push her into this housewife role.
Mm-hmm.
And with that comment that he made about his youngest sister-in-law being the perfect housewife now,
Mm-hmm.
it really seems like OP's in danger if they had continued this relationship of being pushed into this housewife role and then eventually pushed into having children and then pushed into all kinds of avenues that they weren't really interested in. So I'm glad OP got out of the situation. I feel bad that they had to go through this breakup, but it's probably for the best.
And at least OP has a supportive family, it sounds like, and everyone on Reddit, for the most part, is on your side, OP, so you've done nothing wrong.
Exactly. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she's got a joke.
What stays in the corner yet can travel all over the world? No answer.
I have an answer. See, if you put a globe in the corner, right? And then you put your finger on the globe and you spin it, right? You've traveled all over the world, but you haven't moved. And so that's my answer, is a globe, one of those old-fashioned globes. But if you're like one of the new aged people, a flat disc, because reasons.
I'm just going to, the answer's a stamp. Your first answer was kind of clever. I don't get your other. I'm afraid where it's going, but a stamp.
The flat Earth, Ever. The Earth is...
No, but it's not flat. That's the thing.
It isn't flat. There's been a lot of experiments to prove that it isn't flat.
Yes.
Every single time they come up. Even, unfortunately, it's, I don't want to dig too much into the flat Earth stuff, but there's been flat earthers who've been trying to prove that the Earth is flat, right? And all their experiments point to the fact that the Earth is round. And it's very interesting to see the hoops, the mental gymnastics that they jump through to continue to try to justify that the Earth is flat when it is indeed an oblique spheroid. And I have Mega Mint tea. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for watching. Happy hump day. We made it to the middle of the week. We just have a couple more days to go and then we're back on the weekend. And everybody's working for the weekend, right? Amber, I need some moral guidance and please have it involve one map.
Perhaps, in addition to divorce papers, OP from Story 1 should also give her husband a map so he can find somewhere else to live.
I like it. I don't know how much of a moral that is, but it's just general advice, life advice for OP2.
Or OP1.
Or OP1. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.